Have you ever felt your heart racing before a big presentation? Or found yourself lying awake at 3 a.m. with your mind spinning through endless what-if scenarios? Maybe you've noticed that pit in your stomach when scrolling through social media. Comparing your behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel. You're not broken, you're not weak, and you're definitely not alone. What you're experiencing is part of the human condition. And today we're going to talk about something that touches nearly every one of us at some point in our lives. Anxiety and the incredible healing power of genuine human connection. Because here's the truth. Nobody talks about enough. Your mental health matters just as much as your physical health. And seeking support isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of wisdom. Picture this. You're walking through life carrying an invisible backpack. Every worry, every stress, every anxious thought gets tossed into that pack. Some days it feels light, manageable, like you're just carrying a few essentials for a pleasant hike. But other days, that backpack feels like it's filled with bricks, weighing you down with every step, making even simple tasks feel overwhelming. The beautiful thing is, you don't have to carry that weight alone. Throughout human history, we've survived and thrived not because we were the strongest or fastest, but because we learned to support each other. We learned that sharing the load makes everyone stronger. Your anxiety isn't a character flaw. It's your mind's way of trying to protect you, even when that protection has gone a little overboard. Let's talk about what anxiety actually is. Because understanding your experience is the first step toward healing. Anxiety is like having a smoke alarm in your brain that's become a little too sensitive. It's supposed to alert you to real danger, but sometimes it starts going off when you're just making toast. Your nervous system doesn't distinguish between a saber-toothed tiger and a difficult conversation with your boss. It responds to both with the same fight-or-flight response. Your heart pounds, your palms get sweaty, your breathing becomes shallow, and suddenly you feel like you're in mortal danger when you're actually just sitting in a meeting. This isn't your fault, and it doesn't mean you're defective. It means your alarm system needs a little fine-tuning, and that's exactly what we can work on together. Here's something that might surprise you. Anxiety affects over 40 million adults in the United States alone, making it the most common mental health condition. That means in any room of 10 people, at least 3 are dealing with anxiety in some form. Yet we often suffer in silence, convinced that everyone else has it figured out while we're falling apart. Social media has made this worse, creating a highlight reel culture where everyone's struggles are hidden behind perfectly curated posts. But behind those smiling selfies and success stories, real people are dealing with real struggles, just like you. The person sitting next to you on the bus, your coworker, who always seems so confident, your neighbor, who has the perfect lawn. They might all be carrying their own invisible backpacks, feeling just as overwhelmed as you sometimes do. The shame around mental health struggles runs deep in our culture, but it's time we change that narrative. Think about it. If you broke your leg, you wouldn't hesitate to see a doctor, use crutches, or ask friends for help carrying groceries. You'd wear that cast proudly, knowing you're taking care of yourself and healing properly. But when our minds need healing, we often try to suffer in silence, as if seeking help is somehow shameful. This outdated thinking is not only harmful, it's dangerous. Your mental health is just as real and just as important as your physical health. The chemicals in your brain, the neural pathways that process stress and fear, the way your nervous system responds to threats. These are all biological processes that can be understood, treated, and healed. Therapy isn't just for people in crisis. It's for anyone who wants to understand themselves better, develop healthier coping strategies, and build resilience for life's inevitable challenges. Think of therapy like going to the gym for your mind. You wouldn't expect to get physically fit without putting in some work. Learning proper form and having a trainer guide you through the process. Mental fitness works the same way. A good therapist is like a personal trainer for your emotional well-being, helping you identify patterns, develop new skills, and strengthen your psychological muscles. They're not there to judge you or tell you what to do. They're there to walk alongside you, offering tools and insights that you might not be able to see on your own. There are so many different types of therapy, and finding the right fit is like finding the right exercise routine. What works for one person might not work for another, and that's perfectly okay. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, is like learning to be a detective of your own thoughts, identifying the patterns that contribute to anxiety and learning to challenge them. Dialectical behavior therapy, or DBT, focuses on building skills for managing intense emotions and improving relationships. EMDR helps process traumatic experiences that might be contributing to your anxiety. Talk therapy provides a safe space to explore your feelings and experiences with someone who won't judge you. The key is finding what resonates with you, and sometimes that means trying a few different approaches or therapists until you find your match. One of the most powerful tools in managing anxiety is learning to recognize the difference between thoughts and facts. Your anxious mind might tell you things like, "Everyone thinks I'm stupid," or "Something terrible is going to happen," or "I can't handle this." But these are thoughts, not facts. They feel real because anxiety is so physical and immediate, but they're often based on fear rather than reality. Learning to observe your thoughts without immediately believing them is like learning to watch clouds pass by without getting caught in the storm. You can acknowledge the thought. I notice I'm having the thought that everyone thinks I'm stupid, without accepting it as truth. This simple shift in perspective can be incredibly liberating. Breathing might seem like the most basic thing in the world, but when anxiety hits, it's often the first thing that goes wrong. Shallow, rapid breathing actually feeds anxiety, sending signals to your brain that you're in danger. But here's the beautiful thing. Your breath is always available to you as an anchor to the present moment. Try this. Breathe in slowly through your nose for 4 counts, hold for 4, then exhale through your mouth for 6 counts. This simple technique activates your parasympathetic nervous system, telling your body it's safe to relax. It's like having a reset button for your nervous system, and you can use it anywhere, anytime. Practice this when you're calm, so it becomes second nature when anxiety strikes. The power of community and healing cannot be overstated. Humans are wired for connection. It's literally how our brains developed over millions of years. When we feel isolated, our nervous systems interpret this as a threat, keeping us in a state of chronic stress. But when we feel connected, supported, and understood, our bodies can finally relax into healing. This doesn't mean you need to be surrounded by people all the time, but it does mean that having meaningful connections with others is essential for your mental health. Think quality over quantity. 1 deep. Authentic relationship is worth more than 100 superficial ones. Building community starts with vulnerability, which can feel terrifying when you're already anxious. But here's the paradox. The very thing that feels most scary, opening up about your struggles, is often what creates the deepest connections. When you share your authentic experience, you give others permission to do the same. You might be surprised to discover that your struggles aren't unique, that others have walked similar paths, and that there's incredible strength in shared experience. Support groups, whether online or in person, can provide this sense of community and understanding. There's something powerful about sitting in a room with people who truly get what you're going through, who can nod knowingly when you describe that specific type of anxiety that keeps you up at night. Your daily routines and habits play a huge role in your mental health, often in ways you might not realize. Think of your mental health like a garden. It needs consistent care, the right conditions, and patience to flourish. Sleep is like water for your mental health garden. When you're sleep deprived, everything feels harder, emotions feel more intense, and anxiety can spiral more easily. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep, and create a bedtime routine that signals to your body it's time to wind down. This might include turning off screens an hour before bed, reading something calming, or practicing gentle stretches. Your anxious mind might resist sleep, spinning with worries about tomorrow. But remember that a well-rested brain is much better equipped to handle whatever comes your way. Movement is medicine for anxiety, and you don't need to become a marathon runner to benefit. Even a 10-minute walk around the block can shift your mental state, releasing endorphins and giving your nervous system a chance to reset. Find movement that feels good to you. Maybe it's dancing to your favorite music, doing yoga videos in your living room, or taking walks in nature. The key is consistency rather than intensity. Your body was designed to move, and when you honor that need, you're sending a message to your brain that you're taking care of yourself. What you eat affects how you feel more than you might realize. Think of your brain as a high-performance engine. It needs quality fuel to function at its best. This doesn't mean you need to follow a perfect diet, but small changes can make a big difference. Eating regular meals helps stabilize your blood sugar, which can prevent those energy crashes that often trigger anxiety. Foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids, like salmon, walnuts, and chia seeds, support brain health. Limiting caffeine can help if you're sensitive to its anxiety-inducing effects, and staying hydrated is crucial. Even mild dehydration can affect your mood and energy levels. The relationship between anxiety and technology is complex, and it's worth examining honestly. Social media can be a source of connection and support, but it can also fuel comparison, FOMO, and information overload. Notice how you feel before, during, and after scrolling through your feeds. Are you feeling more connected and inspired, or more anxious and inadequate? Consider creating boundaries around your technology use. Maybe no phones in the bedroom, designated phone-free times during the day, or unfollowing accounts that consistently make you feel worse about yourself. Your mental health is worth protecting. And sometimes that means being selective about what you allow into your mental space. Mindfulness isn't about emptying your mind or achieving some Zen-like state of perfection. It's simply about paying attention to the present moment without judgment. When anxiety strikes, your mind often time travels, worrying about the future or ruminating about the past. But anxiety can only exist when you're not fully present. Mindfulness practices can be as simple as noticing 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. This grounding technique brings you back to the here and now, where you're actually safe. You can practice mindfulness while washing dishes, walking, or even waiting in line at the store. It's about quality of attention, not quantity of time. Let's talk about the stories we tell ourselves about our anxiety. Maybe you've been telling yourself that you're weak, that you should be able to handle things better, that you're bothering people when you reach out for support. These stories aren't serving you. They're keeping you stuck in shame and isolation. What if you could rewrite your story? What if anxiety isn't a sign of weakness, but a sign of sensitivity? Of a heart that cares deeply about life and relationships? What if your struggles have given you empathy and understanding that you can share with others? What if your journey through anxiety is actually making you stronger, more compassionate, and more authentic? Your struggles don't define you, but they can refine you if you let them. Creating a personal support network doesn't happen overnight, but it's one of the most important investments you can make in your mental health. Start small. Maybe there's one person in your life you trust enough to share what you're going through. It might be a friend, family member, coworker, or even someone you've connected with online. The key is to choose people who listen without trying to fix you, who support you without judgment, and who respect your boundaries. You might also consider joining a support group, either in person or online, where you can connect with others who understand your experience. Remember, you're not looking for someone to solve your problems. You're looking for people who will walk alongside you as you find your own solutions. Professional support is incredibly valuable, but it's not the only form of help available. Peer support, connecting with others who have similar experiences, can be equally powerful. There's something unique about talking to someone who has walked a similar path, who understands the specific challenges you're facing, not from a textbook, but from lived experience. Peer support groups, both online and offline, can provide this kind of understanding and connection. Many communities have free or low-cost support groups for anxiety, and there are numerous online communities where you can connect with others who understand what you're going through. The journey of healing isn't linear, and that's important to understand from the beginning. Some days you'll feel like you're making tremendous progress, and other days you might feel like you're back at square one. This isn't failure, it's part of the process. Healing happens in spirals, not straight lines. You might revisit similar challenges, but each time you do, you're approaching them with more wisdom, more tools, and more understanding of yourself. Be patient with yourself on the difficult days, and celebrate the small victories along the way. Progress isn't always about feeling better. Sometimes it's about handling difficult feelings with more grace and self-compassion. Self-compassion is perhaps the most important skill you can develop on your mental health journey. Think about how you would treat a good friend who is struggling with anxiety. You'd probably be kind, understanding, and supportive. You'd remind them that they're not alone, that their feelings are valid, and that they're stronger than they know. Now, can you offer yourself that same kindness? Self-compassion isn't about lowering your standards or making excuses. It's about treating yourself with the same care and understanding you'd offer someone you love. When you notice self-critical thoughts arising, try to respond with the same gentle kindness you'd show a friend. Creating meaning and purpose in your life can be a powerful antidote to anxiety. When you feel connected to something larger than yourself, whether it's relationships, creativity, service, or personal growth, anxiety often feels less overwhelming. This doesn't mean you need to find your ultimate life purpose tomorrow, but it does mean paying attention to what brings you joy, what makes you feel alive, and what feels meaningful to you. Maybe it's volunteering for a cause you care about, creating art, mentoring someone younger, or simply being present for the people you love. Purpose doesn't have to be grand or world-changing. It just has to be authentic to who you are. The stigma around mental health is slowly changing, but it still exists, and it can be one of the biggest barriers to seeking help. Remember that seeking support for your mental health is a sign of strength, not weakness. It takes courage to acknowledge when you're struggling, wisdom to recognize when you need help, and strength to take action. You wouldn't expect to perform surgery on yourself or fix a broken bone without professional help. Why should mental health be any different? Your brain is an organ, just like your heart or your liver, and sometimes it needs professional care to function at its best. If you're worried about the cost of therapy, know that there are options available. Many therapists offer sliding scale fees based on income. Community mental health centers often provide low-cost or free services. Some employers offer employee assistance programs that include free counseling sessions. Online therapy platforms have made mental health support more accessible and affordable. Many support groups are free to attend. The investment in your mental health is one of the most important investments you can make. It affects every aspect of your life, from your relationships to your work to your overall well-being. As we wrap up this conversation, I want you to know that seeking help for anxiety isn't just about feeling better. It's about living more fully. It's about not letting fear make decisions for you. It's about building resilience so you can weather life's storms with greater ease. It's about connecting more deeply with yourself and others. It's about recognizing that you deserve support, understanding, and compassion, both from others and from yourself. Your mental health journey is unique to you, and there's no timeline you need to follow. Take it one day at a time, one breath at a time, one small step at a time. Remember, you are not your anxiety. You are a whole, complex, beautiful human being who happens to experience anxiety. Your struggles don't define you, but they can teach you. Your vulnerability isn't weakness, It's the birthplace of courage, creativity, and connection. You have everything within you that you need to heal and grow. You just might need some support along the way. And that's not only okay, it's human. Reach out, speak up, and remember that you're never as alone as your anxiety wants you to believe. Your story isn't over, and your best chapters might still be ahead of you. Take care of yourself, be gentle with yourself, and remember that healing is possible. You deserve to feel peace, connection, and joy in your life. And if you're not there yet, that's okay too. Keep going, keep growing, and keep reaching out for the support you need. You've got this, and you don't have to do it alone. If this video has resonated with you, please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Share this with someone who might need to hear these words today. Drop a comment below about your own mental health journey, or what tools have helped you manage anxiety. Your story matters, and by sharing it, you might just help someone else feel less alone. Remember, seeking help is brave, you are worthy of support, and your mental health matters. Until next time, take care of your beautiful mind.